Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this latest edition of Tales from Outer Space. And as always, I hope that you enjoy. Just a quick shout out to the T5 peeps: Bob the Dragon, Cat Crab Lobster, Data Magnet, Dark Machine, Bezic, Try Again 95, Pudic Yol, Astrea the Dreamer, Caspar Arnholtz, Cam Maxwell, Athelia, Meridian 117, and Jordan Bucksmorm. Thank you very much. Story number 1. One Lost Story, written by Barsum Israel. John stood tall, looking over the frail form of his small daughter. Grief threatened to consume him, but for her sake, he knew he had to remain strong. John was not sure how much more he could take. Outside the emergency habitat, 2 freshly turned dirt mounds were off to the right, under the beautiful alien tree with purple leaves. His wife loved that tree, and his son spent his days climbing its branches. Now they both were beneath it. It had been a little over a year when the ship's engines failed, and they'd limped here, to this unexplored alien world that would sustain their lives. The planet was rich in animal and plant life, water, breathable air. They could make a go of it. Or so they thought. There was something else here, something in the air or the water. Something they called the Fade. The Fade was a disease that attacked the systems of their human bodies, causing weakness and fatigue. Each day getting worse until the victim just died, until the victim just faded. It claimed his son first. He got sick, and less than 2 weeks later, he was gone. His wife was already showing symptoms of the disease as they buried their son under the purple-leafed tree, trying vainly to hide her weakness from him. But John knew. He had known for days. She had made it for a month. John felt that his heart would break, if not for him, but for his daughter, sobbing quietly into her hands. He had to stay strong. He had to. And just last week, he had trouble waking Lily, his daughter. He was panicked as when she finally awoke, as she had the same dull, weary look in her eyes. He cried out and hugged her tightly, but he knew she had the Fade. For days, he watched her slip away from him. He knew the time had to be near when Lily's eyes flickered open and struggled to focus on him.
"Daddy,"
she said softly. "Yes, my little star. I'm here," John replied. Lily smiled a bit at the nickname her dad had given her, his little star.
"Can you tell me a story?"
she asked, her voice barely a whisper. "Of course, sir. One last story, and then you get some rest." Smiling even more, Lily snuggled deeper into her blankets and waited for the story to begin.
"Good," she said. "One last story."
John cleared his throat and began. Once upon a time, there was a beautiful space princess named Lily.
"Dad,"
Lily scolded.
"that's my name."
"Oh, no, little star. Your name is Lily. The space princess is named Lily. Did you forget your own name already?" As weak as she was, Lily rolled her eyes, but her smile grew wider. "As I was saying," John continued, "Lily was a beautiful space princess and had many suitors vying for her attention. But her father, the Space King, knew that there was no one in the entire universe that was good enough for his daughter. Lily rejected every suitor and complained to her father that there was no one for her, no one that made her feel safe and happy. So the Space King searched far and wide for many years to find a place where Lily could find happiness." John gently wiped a stray golden hair back from Lily's face and continued. "After a long time, the Space King found a place that would be perfect. There was no pain for his daughter to endure, no hunger, no strife. All of the people in this very special place would love his daughter, and she would be truly happy and find peace. But the price to enter this place was very high.
What was the price?
Letty asked, her voice so low John could barely hear it. The price, little star, was that the king could not see his princess again for many years. She had to go alone. His daughter did not reply, but he could tell that she was still listening. The king loved his daughter so much that he agreed to the terms, and giving her one long, lost hug, she left and entered the place where she ran, laughing across the vast swaths of grass, with loved ones all around her. She was in a special, a happy place. John looked at his daughter, who opened her eyes. She struggled to say something, but the light in his little star's eyes flickered and slowly faded away, the ghost of a warm smile still on her lips. Roaring grief and unimaginable agony to the heavens, John crushed the small girl's body to his chest. It was days later when John realized that he had to continue on with life. He exited the emergency habitat and cast a glance at the beautiful purple-leafed tree, now with a third mound of freshly turned dirt beneath it. As a feeling of grief and loneliness threatened to engulf him, he turned away and walked to the top of a small nearby hill. He stood, staring across the endless horizons, silhouetted in the light of the setting alien sun. And there, to the left of the glowing orb, the first stars of night appeared, and one he never saw before. A small, little star, flickering and dancing in the heavens, and above it, as if keeping watch over the little one, 2 other stars shone. Through the grief and pain, he felt a reassuring feeling blossom in his chest. He smiled and let out a quick sob at the same time. He smiled up to the star. Good night, dear one, he said aloud, until we meet again, and I will tell you stories anew. End of chapter. Story number 2. Adorable Ferocity, written by _________. The most troubling aspect of the invasion was the uncanny valley of the aliens. They looked like cat girls from a pervy anime, even the males of their species, and the end results of meeting the big-eyed cat people was uniquely unsettling. Unsettling if it wasn't your fetish. There were a number of humans who tried to Captain Kirk it, only to receive a mauling befitting a cat girl's anime-like nature, meaning over the top and generally not very harmful to the recipient. Our space invaders weren't going anywhere, dead set on their conquest as they were, but their antics and over-the-top nature meant that they weren't true threats to the military forces of the world. Yes, they could kill a human, and humans did get killed by them. But humans could kill them almost by accident. The first military engagement was so utterly one-sided towards Earth's forces that humanitarian and animal rights activists started to speak up in protest. It's like kicking puppies or drowning kittens, an unidentified soldier in the United States Army answered a reporter's questions, having just returned from the front. I feel bad doing it. I don't want to do it again. After a time, the military units came to see the assaults and attacks from these space invaders like an owner might view a kitten sneak attack pounces or ferocious flailing antics of kitten doom. This was best summed up by a soldier of the People's Army of China. Yes, we were officially attacked today. It was the first for the Northern Theater Command. The soldier laughed. They were adorably ferocious, and we did our best to liven up the assault with theatrics and melodrama. The soldier paused as the reporter asked another question. Yes, I think we were far more theatrical than our American counterparts in California. The relationship between Earth's armed forces and the invaders wasn't always so kind, and perhaps the weirdest brushfire conflict since their arrival. A combined Israeli, Iranian, and Egyptian task force intervened when the cat girls decided their best chance at conquest was to assault the remnants of ISIS. Something visceral, despite the uncanniness of their appearance, didn't sit well when the video of cat girls getting creatively and crudely annihilated was aired. Later, it came to light the commanding officers of the elements involved had acted independently, a denial the world rolled its eyes at, but accepted. Traditional enemies had to be enemies, even when someone was yanking on a kitten's tail. Soon after that incident, it was decided something had to be done. The military and paramilitaries of the world might be having a gas, but it was disrupting trade. A grand solution was devised, even if the world eyed the United States for suggesting it. Reservations. The plan was simple, and every major power scrambled to ensure that they'd have their own set of reservations. No one wanted to be left behind technologically. That was how the cat girls successfully invaded Earth. They invaded designated zones where the military forces of Earth could easily babysit them while politicians did their best to get cat girl technology. After all, they might be ineffective soldiers, but they could travel the stars. Humanity wanted to be able to do that too. Anthropologists couldn't help but note the similarity between the manner humanity adopted felines and how humanity had come to adopt our space invaders. End of story. And that, my friends, concludes this video. I hope that you enjoyed. There are links down below, both to support this channel and for the author of this fiction. Anyways, I hope you all have a fantastic one, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.